Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, the final game of today's coverage. First pitch starting here at 9:42. A late day for all of us here in the press box. A long day since 10 a.m. with 2 4-hour games, 1 2-hour and 20-minute game. And a lot has happened today for sure, and a 1-0 count for the first pitch as the Tigers and the Eagles are up to try and get a slot in the losers bracket final. Loser heads home, and both Dyersburg and Columbia State are far away from their home and not wanting to go home tonight. And the winner of this game plays against the Green Jays of Jackson in the losers final to determine who's facing off against the Senators in the championship. Spencer Thompson and Austin Ray. It's been a long day, my friend. We're here and hoping that tomorrow's games do occur, and hoping that it'll all be worth it in the culmination of the championship with the Tennessee Community College Athletic Association as a line drive gets past the pitcher and a base hit already as the Eagles are the designated away team and McCutcheon gets to first base right off the bat. But this is going to be one heck of a ball game because of everything that has culminated to this moment. The games we saw earlier for the Tigers and the Eagles, it's just everything culminating to this moment to determine who are the final three teams. Because right now it's technically the final four, but determining who are the final three teams going into the weekend.
This is definitely going to be a big matchup today. This is one of the, even though it's a loser bracket, these are one of the best two teams that there are right now. And they worked their way up. They lost only at least one game, of course. If they would have lost more too, they'll be out. But their losses don't depict on how they have been. Both of these teams have been scoring real well. They've been hitting the ball really good too. And so they're really looking to get to that number one spot, especially when it gets to Walter State tomorrow. So they want to make sure that they're ready and that they're going to be prepared for this game. And they're really going to make sure that their hitting is correct, their fielding is always there, and with limited errors that they need. That's really one thing that they're going to be working on, and plus they're going to be playing the game right. They're going to be swinging hard, but not for home runs. They're going to be swinging for for extra base hits and singles just to get players around. So they're going to be doing this competitively like the game is supposed to be. This is do or die moment for them. And for the next two games that we're going to see tonight and tomorrow, this is going to be it's going to be a do or die moment for both of them.
There's a do or die with a base hit, runner now on first and third for the Eagles, and they come out immediately swinging against the Tigers. And you look at the team's history in the bracket thus far, culminating to this moment in the semifinal. The Chattanooga State Tigers, they beat the Chargers 8-5, lost to the Senators 17-9, and then knocked out the Motlow State Bucks 13-9 to culminate to this moment. Knocked out Motlow earlier today. And you look at the Dyersburg State Eagles, pulled off the upset against Cleveland State 3-2. Lost to Jackson State 11-7, and then Dyersburg beat Columbia State earlier today 12-9. So the culmination in all of this makes the tensions much higher in both dugouts.
Yeah, definitely. Dyersburg already has a strong dugout. They love to be loud. They love to get into the opponent's head a lot. So whenever you hear and see them get a base hit or they score, just be prepared just to hear the Dyersburg dugout just get loud. And really, I wouldn't be shocked to see Chattanooga State's dugout be loud too, because they want to get into their heads. They want to let them know that they're in it and they're here to win as well. So that's why I really think that this is going to be a really great game tonight. And it's not – they got a lot of fighting for this because none of these teams want to go home with each of them over a 2-hour drive away. They've come too far just to go home already.
And a wild pitch there. It's right now a 1-2 count. And you're correct with being 2 hours 2-hour drive or more for both of these teams. Neither of them wanting to go home just yet, and it is a long ride home. I'm sure they'll stay in the hotel room for the night regardless, because this one is set to go through until probably about midnight for this game, maybe a little bit later depending on the urgency. As you point at me for the jinx, and it's probably bound to happen anyways. Remember what happened what happened the last time?
Hey, we rather watch it happen than for us to jinx it. Okay, because if you jinx it, it's going to be on you.
And your superstition with baseball,
hey,
man.
No, we got two other guys over here that will say the same thing. And that's not just
They
baseball.
said it was on me 2 nights ago if it had gone to extra innings. The game didn't. So luckily not having to worry about that.
Yeah, you got lucky for that one too.
Even count. So looking at the stat lines for both clubs, the Dyersburg has updated their stats as of today. Chattanooga State updated as of yesterday. They didn't update today's game, but Dyersburg, they are 17th in the nation in the times they've been hit by the pitch. The only other top stat they have is they are looking here on the stat lines. Looks like the highest other stat they have. They are 33rd in 31st in batting average against throughout the nation. And looking at the Chattanooga State Tigers, they are higher up in several stats. They are 2nd in the nation in their batting average and 14th in runs, 25th in doubles, 17th in hits, 27th in triples, and they're also 17th in strikeouts. So it's kind of balanced out there. 2nd in the nation on 2 other statistics that are huge, especially that you've been looking at through the entire tournament.
Yeah, and really, I want to focus more. I want to focus more on their runs. They're 14th, and they're one of the leaders in the runs, and definitely the batting averages help with them being 2nd in the nation, as well as being 2nd in the nation for their on-base percentage. They could do really well when it comes to those categories. And what they do is that they really focus on the hitting part of it and to really get a good connection with the ball, to really drive a ball as far as they can, as hard as they can, but not in the air, but on the straight line. That's what they really worked for. And their fielding helps out for their wins, too. They're really capable of making great plays, and that's as offense and defense for them. So they've already – right now, Chattanooga only has 23 home runs, and that's good for their teams. That just lets you know that. Make that number 24.
And hit home run number 9 on the postseason, a grand slam, the first one of the postseason, and it comes in the top of the first in this elimination game. 4-0 Tigers.
That was my fault, guys. That was not number 24. That was number 31 for the team for Dyersburg State, too. And a great way to start the inning for it, too. Just a huge hit up the left field, on the left field, almost hitting the lights, too. And that was a category moonshot right there.
First grand slam of the playoffs. We've been waiting a long time, and what a great way to start this late night game.
We've been waiting a while for that one.
And next up, how is Christian Martin going to follow up on this one? I have no clue.
He's going to do his best for it. He's probably going to try to match it. They are Dyersburg. I'm shocked I didn't hear a lot more coming from them, but I do know that they were still up. That's pretty good. That's really good for them to be up, especially at this time of night. Waiting this long for just to play a game after playing one already. So their adrenaline is still going. Now they got the full motivation that they need to go and keep hitting. They're good at home runs, too. They're 30, and that makes number 31 for their team. And that was one of their biggest hitters, too. So,
and grounder there, and toss up, toss over, and correction on the scoreboard. That's a grand slam for the Eagles. It's the designated away team 4-0. And a great way for the Eagles to start. Now, the Eagles, the interesting thing about them is they had their game earlier with Columbia State that didn't start until 2 hours later than it was scheduled, about a 3 o'clock first pitch. So they wrapped up their game after about 4 hours as well. First pitch was about at 6:50 for the third game between the Senators. So a little bit about 30-40 minutes before that is when they wrapped up. So the Tigers are more well rested, and they're already facing as the first baseman misses the catch. Doesn't matter as he tags there. And that leads to out number 2. But the Tigers are more well-rested, and already they've allowed a grand slam.
Yeah, and the thing about that is that they had time to recuperate everything. They got time to rest. They got time to get something to eat and to really just get focused. And right now, that their pitcher just made a mistake, and Dyersburg, they're still up and running from when they played last. So they're coming off of a win from Columbia, and it was a close game against Columbia too, with it being 12-9, and so really it's just a big factor into that too, because they're coming off of a close win from them. Their adrenaline is still going. They're happy to be here at this point, especially winning in that close of a situation, and really they're hyped up still, and you may not hear them a lot tonight, but you're definitely going to see them still pick it up from the dugout and be right behind their teammates' back.
1-2 count here for the Eagles. Tyner Hughes. That gets flected out going towards us there. And Hughes, with only about 15 at-bats, has a .267 average at .533 slugging. And faces 2 outs here in the top of the first. Even count. And line drive. Toss over back to first, and he is out. What an amazing start for the Eagles. A grand slam in the first inning. The Tigers going to try to respond as they take their first time at bat. Bottom of the first, the Tigers trying to respond to the grand slam. And Matthew Martin is the starting pitcher tonight, the freshman lefty, with a 10.71 ERA, 19 strikeouts and 13 walks on 10 appearances and 21 innings pitched. So the stats show otherwise for him to be the starting pitcher, but shows the faith that the Eagles have in him as Chile leads off with a 440 slugging, 349 average, and is the team leader in steals.
Yeah, he's got 36 steals at the moment. Excuse me. He's only been caught 4 times, so that's a really good number to have too. And really, his RBIs, they're good. They're 39 RBIs, only had 33 walks and 25 strikeouts. So just expect a lot of good mentality from this hitter right here. He really knows how to watch a ball. He's already fouled 2 off right now. So he really knows how to really look for a ball. He can tell the rotation and spin. He's really good at depicting on whether or not he should swing at it. The big thing is he's also had 5 doubles and 58 hits. And with those 58 hits, he's also had 57 runs. So he does real well for his team, really, in general, just to get on base and have them help him out by scoring runs, letting them not come in, or he'll help out by knocking them in too with the 39 RBIs, as I said.
So even count at 2-2 outside for the full with Sean Chile, who's had a great tournament thus far, great tournament performance thus far, and again the Tigers have not updated their stats for today's game. They've updated it through yesterday against Walter State, and that's a walk for Chile.
Yeah, 34 right there for his walk, and like I said, he can really look at the ball and know when and when not to swing too.
Next batting, number 15, the left fielder, Nick Blueball.
Blue Ball with a 536 slugging and 364 average has got 43 RBIs. He's got a runner on first. One and one. Strike 2. And attempt to steal second, sliding in, safe. Chile with the safe steal, and as of yesterday's stats, that's steal 37. There's deflection out of play. It's a 2-2. The bottom of the first. Two. Outside full. With Matthew Martin starting out as the pitcher in this game, it has the question of if they're grounder to up the first baseline and can't pick up the ball. Runners on first and third. Call that a base hit, And now runners on first and third. The Tigers have a chance to score here as Martin couldn't get control of the baseball. Delancey steps up next with 356 on the average and 53 RBIs. Now, a replay hasn't been working for the past few days, but looking at the playback on the stream at that home run, that grand slam, it's just incredible.
Yeah, once he got the ball off the bat, he knew it was gone. He started taking his time walking down the first baseline, just admiring it. And I really don't blame him for a grand slam just to start off the inning. And with it, if you want to go back, you can watch it. And he had a big bat
deep
flip
drive
after it,
center
too.
field. Sorry about that, Austin.
Yeah,
As an
good.
out there. And run home for the Tigers' first run of the night. So at the very least in the first inning, the Tigers respond with one with that sacrifice hit. Sent that back to deep center.
Now batting number 31, the shortstop, Noah Fitzgerald.
And Fitzgerald is another name that we've mentioned plenty of times for the Tigers with his 7-11 slugging and 465 average. Has a swing and a miss there, but he's been one of the key players. He's even pitched for the Tigers throughout this tournament. And he pitched earlier today, I believe, he was the either relief or closer. He was the closer for the earlier game the Tigers had. And for him to come back up here and bat, although he's at 0-2, it's just incredible for him to recover that quickly.
They really want him out there, and so they're going to put him anywhere that they can really just put him because he's a big asset to the team. So they're really just going to keep trying to let him play him, and so they're going to do the best they can because he's one of their better players. So why not just go ahead and keep him on playing?
And got hit by the pitch, advanced to first.
He was not happy about that either.
We've seen in more so in major leagues where players who get hit by the pitch charge the mound. Probably won't happen here, especially with what's at stake. But we've seen it a lot at the major league. And Fitzgerald is trying to shake it off.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, he's really good at batting too. So I think he's more upset at the fact that he did get hit and that he couldn't get up there and try and score the runner.
And that's why he was the conference player of the year. One out in the bottom of the first. As Holton, it's a 597 average. Strike one. Grounder gets past the pitcher, but tagged first and
got him.
Double play. That takes us to the top of the first. The Tigers respond with run. The Eagles lead it by 3. Top of the second inning, the Eagles trying to ride off of the momentum from the Grand Slam against the higher-seeded Tigers. Winner has to go home, and for Chattanooga, it's a longer trip than Dyersburg. Strike one. Guy in the statistician in the booth in disagreement on that one. And sent back towards the wall, catch by the left fielder. Out one.
Now batting number 1, the catcher, Efren Torres.
Just over 2 hours away. 2 hours and 18 minutes is Chattanooga, and about 2 hours 38 minutes is Dyersburg. So a 20-minute difference farther for Dyersburg. Grounder. There's 6 over to 2, 3. 6 over to 3. So now a 0-2 count.
Now batting number 3, the shortstop, Blake McCutcheon.
Batting order starts over with Kuchin. And Tigers send it down for 1-0. It's the 2-0. Strike one. Strike two. And grounder to 4. And rolled safe.
Man, I could really be an umpire, huh?
Especially with the perspective, with the eye in the sky view, you could be the if the MLB ever puts in a sky umpire, that's one thing you could do.
You know how many calls they will actually get right? But then again, the MLB, they get instant replay. And
Yeah, they've got an
challenges.
challenges.
Yeah.
They've got a replay center now. And Jordan Power wearing number 30 on the mound. NJCAA saying wearing 12, but he's the starting pitcher, sophomore, with 4.05 ERA, 29 strikeouts, and 23 walks. He's pitched 31 innings on 14 appearances, and that's a grounder there to shortstop. And make that
easy play.
easy to go to the bottom of the second, still 4-1. Cooper up to bat. Cooper up to bat for the Tigers with a 418 and 560 slugging. Strike one. Sent for a base hit to left. Bowling up next with 364 average as of yesterday. The freshman has had 143 at-bats and 52 hits. Faces a 1-0 count here. One and one. One, two. And up to second base, toss it
And
first and
safe.
safe. So at least one out, but not in time for the double play.
Now batting number 3, the catcher, Bailey Russell.
Bailey Russell up to bat for the Tigers with a 270 average. Sends
Great
it to
hit.
left field. Fantastic hit. Runners now on first and second. Didn't even get time to mention his 365 slugging on that.
Nope, but you didn't need to. He just showed it right there of how hard he can actually hit the ball.
Here's what I think of your stats. Send it deep left.
Yep. Only got the single, but a hit's a hit.
Brandon Parrott now, who one of the several names we mentioned throughout the tournament in the starting lineup towards the middle. One-0. Good reaction by the catcher to make sure it didn't go behind him. So while we see Parrott here, what we can tell you is that according to the coordinators at the NJCAA, 1 o'clock is the set start time tomorrow for the losers final, and that's what we're going with. They're going to do everything they can to start at 1 o'clock tomorrow, regardless of the different things heard. If any of that changes, we'll give you an update on here as soon as we know it in the broadcast booth, but to our knowledge, it's 1 o'clock tomorrow because I don't think anybody will be happy about a 9 o'clock start just to beat the rain.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely won't. So
I mean, we don't. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what we feel about it. It's about the players, and I don't think.
I don't think it's the players either. I think it's just the coaches.
I don't think the team that loses in this wants to turn around within 6-7 hours. I don't think the team will like that very much, so they're going with 1 o'clock because a 12-hour turnaround for another game is a lot better than trying to only have 7 hours to Yeah, only around to be awake in 7 hours. If the game gets over at 1 o'clock, then that's only about 7 hours for you to sleep. A little bit less because you have to get back to the hotel and get settled in. It's probably about 6.5 hours of sleep, and then getting back up and having to play for your right in the championship. 2-1, 2 even count. Make that full. There's one out here in the bottom of the second. Lovely night here of 72 degrees at Dave Hall Field, Columbia State Community College. The grounder goes towards the first base and toss in time. Out. Second out, but runners now on second and third. The Tigers have a chance to get a scoring play here.
Now batting number 1, the center fielder, Sean.
And batting order reset for the Tigers with Sean Cheely back up. And 2 home runs for him, 58 hits, 440 slugging. So don't be surprised if you see Cheely swing for the fences on this one. Strike 1. Strike 2. We mentioned it earlier, but some umpires like to add drama to the mix. A little bit of a slow call there, just to give the drama on.
They make it seem like it's a movie. There's so much anticipation in it.
I don't know if you've ever heard of a NHL referee named Wes McCauley, but does something along those lines with delaying his announcement of penalties and adding flair to the calls. The home plate umpire likes to add a bunch of those.
Yeah, he takes his time with it too.
Grounder is fair. Toss over to first, and that's out. Heading to the top of the third, 4-1. The Eagles lead it by 3. Top of the third here.
Number 6, the third baseman.
Game 4 of today's action. And we are into a new inning, so no outs should be on the scoreboard. Strike 1. So Jordan, looks like Jordan Power on the mound. Now, of course, that's the lineup, given there is no 30 on the NJCAA website for rosters. 1-1 count here. 2-1. And Drew Record, the batter for the Eagles, with a .580 slugging and .386 average. Faces the 2-1. Wind has been in the same direction through the duration of the day towards left field. And batters have taken advantage of that. The majority of the hits we've seen today have all gone to left field. And strikeout for Record. That's strikeout 28 for the Dyersburg Eagle.
Now batting number 23, the second baseman, Luis Rodriguez.
Rodriguez, the man who got the grand slam in the first inning. Back up and 1-0. The Dyersburg bench, talkative as always. The Chattanooga Tigers starting to pick up their chatter. 2-0. And a walk for Rodriguez.
That's 4 times that they threw out.
Now batting number 7, the
Kristen Martin with a .380 average and .560 slugging. Leads the team in doubles with 16. .477 on-base percentage, needs to readjust the gloves. And the Eagles cheering him on for it. I think maybe it's a superstition thing whenever they cheer excessively. It's a 0-1. And the Tigers start cheering when Mark got the strike. It's gonna be the chatterbox night from both of the dugouts. Top of the third. It's a great orchestra here at Dave Hall Field. Martin versus Power. Swing and a miss. struck him out.
Now, batting number 38, the first baseman, Kylan Johnson.
Kylan Johnson, one of the power hitters for the Eagles. Appearance number 134, a 388 slugging and 284 average. Down the middle for strike one. Oh, 2. And Kylan Johnson gave a little bit of a stare down to the ump and gave a few questions there. 0-2. Faces the 1-2. Johnson trying to get some power under it. And struck him out. Heading to the bottom of the third, the Tigers are up to bat. We just wanted to show something real quick, even though it may slow down the frames. There's Coach Mike Korn on top of the dugout talking to the Dyersburg Eagles. And a Nick Blueball up to plate. There's the 1-0. Got a shot there, Mike Korn on top of the dugout of the Eagles. He's talking to the coaches over there, and grounder. Can he get the first in time? No.
Batting number 23, the second baseman, Ty Delancey.
Delancey with the 503 slugging and 356 average. Strike one. Grounder up the third. Baseline goes foul. The 0-2 count for Delancey. Gets a grounder. It's past the pitcher's glove. Out at first. Fitzgerald with a 465 average coming up, facing 2 outs, a on base of 514.
Now batting number 31, the shortstop, Noah Fitzgerald.
The bottom of the third, the Tigers still down by 3. Comparison of 4 hits to 3 for the Eagles in favor of the Tigers. Swing and miss. It's a little bit early on it. Strike 2. Strike 3.
Man, he just wanted to see if he even swung because he didn't think he did. He wanted to check with the first base umpire, and the home plate umpire never allowed him to.
Heading to the top of the 4th. Top of the 4th. DH up to bat for the Eagles, Hughes. Bases, strike 1. Hughes with only 15 at-bats as of yesterday's game. This will be at-bat 16. 533 slugging and 267 average, and immediately caught out at first.
Now batting number 19, the right fielder, Cameron Bird.
Strike one. Oh, 2. Here's the 1 and 2 for Hughes. Low for the even. And again, Walter State winning against the Green Jays 7-2. Winner of this game goes on to face off against Jackson State in the losers bracket final. Loser will head home likely in the morning. And then that game's scheduled for 1 o'clock tomorrow. And the first championship game is a walk to first. First championship game is scheduled for 4 o'clock tomorrow, and game 2, if necessary, Friday at 1 o'clock. All of that pending, of course, with the incoming rain to Columbia. And Dyersburg has a friend, Torres, up to bat. Runner on first with 1 out. And a visit to the mound by Coach Greg Dennis. Nobody in the bullpen, just a quick visit to make sure they've got the game plan. So thank you to those commenting. Realize now it's Ronnie Pipemeyer on the mound. The starting lineups that were given to us by Coach. Coach had Power as the starting pitcher for the Tigers. So probably just wrote that down real quick. But thanks for the corrections there and also the constructive criticism from Josh Delancey. 1-1. Runners now on first and second.
Now batting number 3, the shortstop, Blake McCutcheon.
And McCutcheon reset the batting order. The fresh count with Eagles trying to get more on the board. Only score they've had so far was from a grand slam from Rodriguez. And McCutcheon facing a 1-0. And 1-1. And special thank you to all the 75 watching this late game here in Columbia. And we did get the starting lineups there, Josh. It was just that they had Jordan Power as the starting pitcher. It's just listed on there. But regardless, 2-1, and Pipemeyer on the mound with a 3.89 ERA. He's got 1 home run allowed, 23 strikeouts, 13 walks, strike 2 count. And out of 16 innings pitched, he's got 8 appearances as a freshman. Pipemeyer trying to make the decision for the 2-2. And it's a foul there for 2-2 count. So just confirmed for us officially, the schedule is staying in place. 1 o'clock is the losers final tomorrow between the Green Jays and whoever wins this game. So staying with the schedule for 1 o'clock. Strikeout. And that's out number 2.
Now batting number 5, the center fielder, Evan Gilliam.
And now Gilliam up to bat. 3.79 average. It's strike
Great
1.
pitch, too.
I'm sure you pitched plenty of those when you were up on the mound back in high school.
I mean, yeah, but, I mean, once you see one, it's still a cool thing to see.
I wasn't meaning it in that way. Just the experience of being able to have a pitch like that work.
I had about 4 different pitches in high school, so it kind of worked out. It didn't always work out in my favor, but when I needed it the most, I can be able to make it do what I wanted to do, which was actually pretty cool.
2 outs in the top of the 4th. Runners on first and second for the Eagles, trying to get more on the board other than that grand slam in the first inning. But the Tigers holding strong. And there's a wild pitch advance to second and third.
That's not something that Chattanooga really wanted, because they want to make sure that they keep Dyersburg doesn't score anymore, and they want to make sure that they come back here in the next couple of innings or so to try and get their lead back. So two on with 2 outs, that's an okay position to be, but when you got good hitters like Dyersburg, it doesn't help out your chances a lot.
The Tigers have not had the lead throughout this game at all because of that grand slam in the first. They managed to get 1 run in the lower half, but have been shut out the last 2 innings and trying to shut out the Eagles for 3 in a row. And a foul up there. Heads, is it?
Nope.
Not to hospitality, just to the backside of the dugout.
Nah, that gets a break for right now.
Yeah. Hospitality had some really good chocolate cobbler over there.
Yeah, they did. Actually, I really liked it.
And there's a hit to right field.
And it's down.
Can't get the catch. Another run for the Eagles and make that 2 for 6-1.
Man, tough break for them right there. I don't know if he just couldn't see it or he read it wrong, but he was there, had his glove, and he went in for the slide.
It looked like it was almost out of the outside of his glove, just barely.
I just couldn't tell if he just lost it up in the lights or something, but I thought he had it for a second and then just fell out.
So now the run count 6-1 for the Eagles as they face 2 outs with a runner on first. 1-0. And attempted steal of second successful. And Drew Record with the team. He's tied now for the team lead in home runs with Rodriguez now getting his 6th tonight. Especially with the stats being updated for today's game against the Chargers.
It just shows that he's a good hitter and he comes up in clutch moments too. So he's definitely a great player to watch out for and to always keep an eye out just in case in situations, if situations just like this too.
And strike 1. Just a verbal reminder, if you haven't already seen the message, Austin Ray reads our shout-outs in the chat at the 7th inning stretch. We got a little way to go, but if you've got any type of shout-outs you want read during the 7th inning stretch, then be sure to get those in beforehand. And that's a walk for Record. Now runners on first and second. 2 runs only on 1 hit, and next up to bat is Rodriguez, the Grand Slam man himself.
Yeah, and if you watched the last at-bat that he had, him and the pitcher almost had a little confrontation. I'm not saying physically, but the way that the pitcher was just throwing at him, he was throwing fastball. None of them were even close to the strike zone, and it almost made it seem like he was aiming for him. Even looked like he was trying to aim for the head twice, which is scary. One being a fastball, which you got to be alert for those. And he was just trying to send a message saying that he didn't like what he did. But pitchers got to watch out for that because luckily enough, the umpire didn't think any of it was intentional, and you can obviously tell it was intentional. He got to watch out because if he starts doing it again, then umpire's not going to take it lightly, and he'll give off warnings, or worse, he'll start giving off ejections.
And especially with the chatter from the dugouts, the tensions being high, I wouldn't be shocked if this is one of the first games where we see somebody ejected, but hoping that does not come to that case, especially in a critical game like this. It's always a good thing when you have a tournament going this far with no ejections, players keeping their composure.
Yeah, I mean, it is good. But the cool thing about this is that we actually seen coaches and players stand up for each other. And, yeah, there has been no ejections. Is that
maybe that ball gets ejected out heading to the back. And
almost.
It's almost gone, and that's run number 7, run number 8 for the Eagles.
He's not messing around tonight. He really wants this win. That's the second extra base hit tonight. 2 for 2. First hit being a grand slam. So give it up for him right now. Rodriguez is doing the great job hitting, and he's sending the message back to the pitcher saying, I'm going to keep doing it if you're going to hit at me. If you're going to pitch at me.
Now batting number 4.
So now
the
8-1, and an attempted ejection of the ball from the park leads to another 2 runs in for the Eagles.
They're finding every way to get fired up over there, and especially Rodriguez doing a great job and boosting up his slugging percentage right now.
There's a 0-1 for Martin. I'm telling you, you get a souvenir ball at some point. It's not going to come off of a foul deflection because it's possible. But at some point, we'll go up on the roof and probably get one of the balls on top of the hospitality roof.
Yeah, well, we're going to sneak over at the end of the night.
No, we'll just ask Johnny to give us a ladder. He'll be fine with that.
I'm pretty sure he'll just let us con the fence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If they haven't gone for the baseballs at this point, then why would they go? Why would they care if we go for them?
Yeah, sure.
And wind picking up here at David Hall Field. It's consistently gone to left field throughout the day, just more picking up in this night game. What's the MPH on that? You're sticking your hand out the window. What's the MPH?
No, I'm just looking for something else, really.
It's 2-1. It's probably no.
He's probably right.
It's guess of about 25-mile-per-hour winds.
That's not my guess.
And a 3-1 here for Martin. So 3-1 here for Martin with Rodriguez on second. And full count now.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yep. And looking at the weather here, it says it's about 6 miles per hour south-southeast. Three-two. High up and another walk. Runners on first and second.
Now batting number 38, the first baseman, Kylan Johnson.
And the power hitter Johnson coming up. 388 slugging with 38 hits on 134 at-bats. And quick.
Yeah, and right now they got excuse me, man. They got a bullpen running right now, a left-handed pitcher.
That's Tanner Moylan, number 7, who's warming up right now and potentially getting looking like warming up for a potential relief pitcher this inning if can't get Johnson out. Johnson hasn't had a fantastic tournament. He's managed to do some things throughout. He's managed to get some contact with it, with the ball, but he's also still looking for his first home run of the season. He managed to get 12 doubles and 1 triple. But his tournament play has been a little bit below average. Just looking for the right opportunity here. And grounder, there's the opportunity. Base hit, and they're going to send the Eagle home for run number 9. To make that 9-1 Eagles.
Now batting number 15, the designated hitter, Tyler Hughes.
And now a pitching change coming up for the Eagles. And they're going to put in Tanner Moylan, who started against the Chargers earlier today. So Tanner Moylan warming up for now. Of course, from yesterday, the stats haven't been updated for the Tigers from the earlier game, but 4.89 ERA, 26 strikeouts, and 13 walks. He's allowed 2 home runs when he's had 13 appearances and 22 innings pitched. The freshman. So we talked a little bit earlier about how the tensions are starting to build and the potential for a brawl could break out, and that reminds us of a story with Austin Ray, who played here during high school, or played a game here at Dave Hall Field in high school. So, what's the story about the brawl, Austin?
It's actually kind of a funny story looking back on it now. So it was against Clarksville High School, and it was a close game. We had to bring in a extra fielder because we were trying to throw in a double play. So we had 2 in the outfield and 5 on the infield. And our shortstop, he gets hit the ball and he threw the ball to home. This is while the bases were loaded, and so he threw the ball home. As soon as he threw the ball home, our catcher was set and was ready to tag him, and then our catcher got ran over by the runner, and so we didn't think much of it. But then we started looking, and now the player that ran over our catcher was in his face. So for a team, we didn't like that. So everybody from the dugout and everybody from the field just started storming over to the players, and all the coaches and umpires had to get us all back, and it lasted for a good about 5-10 minutes, something like that. It lasted a decent amount of time, really. We were kind of shocked that we didn't start getting into a fight, and we never condone fighting here, but it's just that's just how the sport is played sometimes. Is how you stand up for each other and how you protect your own teammates. And so that was just kind of one of our stories here. And the best part about it is that it's actually here at this school right here where it happened. And so every time I come here, it always brings back memories of that one time.
It's good to have memories where the tournament is hosted. So we now can say that a brawl has broken out on this field, just not one in this tournament. And there's been plenty of brawls in the past for Columbia State, but we at least know there's one that we can tell about. And bases loaded now for the Eagles with 2 outs. Tyner Hughes gets walked. Now bring up number 19, Cameron Berry, who had a lot of mentions during the Chargers game. The freshman with 31 hits on 100 at-bats coming into this game and 9 doubles with a .430 slugging. You got full bases here. Probably going to go for the base hit.
That's what they always try to do is go for the base hits. Really for the hitter right here, he's going to be more focused and more courteous to the pitches being thrown to him. Making sure that he's not chasing anything outside or too far inside.
And there's one outside. Send one out, and they're going to send a second one home and slide into third. That's 11-1. The Eagles are taking a dominant lead over Chattanooga State.
And just a reminder, the mercy rule does count in this tournament too. So if the Eagles keep going to the 7th inning, to the bottom of the 7th inning, because Chattanooga does have a chance at the bottom to catch up or to break that mercy rule. If they win by 10 or more, they automatically win after the 7th inning.
But, of course, it's a long hit. It's a lot of defensive play to be able to get to that point and potentially more runs to give some more cushion on that. But the Eagles right now lead by 10 as we found out in the Pioneers game last second that the mercy rule was still in effect, even though we were told otherwise information. And 0-1 count. As Torres has Runners on second and third. The Eagles 7 runs in 1 inning. As the 1-1 is even. And they've got McCutcheon on deck. We'll see what Torres can do, but McCutcheon being on deck in a situation like this is very dangerous. Gets some contact with it, heading to right field for the foul, and it almost bounces into hospitality. Can't tell you. I'm sure somebody could do a hospitality counter number. Just how many times we've actually mentioned that section. And how we've been over there many, many times throughout the past 3 days with the 4 games. 2 games on Sunday, 4 games Monday, Tuesday, and today on the 4th game. You got 2 tomorrow and potentially 1 on Friday to wrap up the tournament. And it's going to be something special with the 2-2 count here. It's already been a special tournament, but it's going to be something special to see the runner-up for the NJCAA World Series back in its 2nd championship game. Was in last year and won it all, the Senators of Walter State. They were runner-up in the World Series last year, hoping to make that magical run again. Lost a lot of star power last year from last year, but looking for that potential to have another magical run and get their first national championship since 2006.
Yeah, and all these teams are really looking for something here. That's Dyersburg, that's going to be Chattanooga State, that's going to be Jackson State, and Walter State. Even the team that won it last year, they're going to want to win it year after year after year. So,
and the important thing to note as well, Walter State is the only college from the Tennessee Community College Athletic Association that has won the national baseball title back in 2006. Nobody else has. I'm not sure. I think a few teams may have come close, but the Senators won it all back in 2006, about 13 years ago. And as the runner-ups from last year looking for another chance at that World Series, and they have the chance to get that berth in the championship game of this tournament either tomorrow or later this weekend. And hit heading foul, but catch made, and that'll end the top of the 4th.
Wow.
A dominant inning for the Eagles, 7 runs, and they lead 11-1 as the Tigers are going to try to respond. bottom of the fourth, 11-1. The Eagles lead by 10 over the Tigers. If they hold that score through the 7th inning, the game is over, but the Tigers looking to retaliate and keep their hopes alive to chase for the conference championship. And there's a base hit to left field. As Holton with the base hit right off of the first pitch.
Now batting number 21, the
And now
Bass Cooper.
Cooper coming up with a 418 average, among the highest of the Tigers. And goes for his at-bat, I believe 143.
Got jammed.
And
Hey, smart. Oh.
that's ruled in
They,
out.
yeah. If he would have just let it hit the ground, then that would have been a different story. Yeah, if he just would have let that hit the ground first, that would have been a different story.
Now
So
batting
one
number 20,
out there.
outfielder Branson Bowie.
Smart idea, just didn't do it correctly.
So Bowling steps up for 462 slugging. Strike one. One and one count. So runner on first. With Bowling trying to get it going here. And struck out 21 times. Faces the 2-1. And there's another one sent to left field. Safe on first and second. Almost every batter we've seen today has made their attempts to send it to the left field because of seeing the wind direction, and it's really helped them to their assistance, especially with those two base hits.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams have been thriving on some, and right now Dyersburg is thriving more than Chattanooga State, definitely, with their hitting, their fielding too. Really, you gotta think on the bright side for Chattanooga too. They're not doing bad on their hitting. They've gotten 5 base hits. The only thing is that they just can't produce the runs to go with them. Their fielding's been good. It's just the small things that they need to work on, especially for the pitching staff, and that's for locating the pitches and making it to where that they can hit them, but let them hit the ground balls and let them get the pop flies. So it'll be a lot easier for the pitcher to get in and get out of their situations.
And tactical strikeout. And that'll end the inning with a double play. So, heading to the top of the 5th, the Eagles still lead it 11-1. The 2019 Tennessee Community College Athletic Association Baseball Tournament is sponsored by Lister Hill Credit Union, Fairfield by Marriott, Alpha Graphics of Franklin, Hampton by Hilton, and Sundrop Bottling. new pitcher in the top of the 5th for the Tigers. It's
Bailey Russell.
Garrett Hartley with a 4.71 ERA and 56 strikeouts, 26 walks. And out of 17 appearances, the sophomore has a 38.2 innings pitched count. And trying to keep the Eagles from getting any more runs. Music still allowed there.
Correction, number 3, the shortstop, Blake McCutcheon.
Here's the 1-0. 1-1. The umpire was looking straight at me in that one, thinking I have the control of the music board.
He's going
there.
to blame the person with the computer.
Yeah, probably blame the one with the computer as grounder out. It's attempted basic by McCutcheon. And out number 1.
Now batting number 5, the center fielder, Evan Gold.
The 1-1. Strike 2. Actually, the count reset for 0-1. Now tied back up at 1 each. And Gilliam with a 379 average has been struck out 21 times. And 11 doubles. So he gets a piece of that for the foul. Got a piece of that again for 1 and 2.
He's just making sure that he doesn't strike out on this. He's fouling everything he can to to make sure that he's not going to get struck out. He at least wants to produce a ground ball.
Low for the even count. Now full for Gilliam. One out in the top of the 5th. Eagles box score 11 runs, 8 hits. Nothing in the E's as it's sent to center field. Out there for second out of the top of the 5th.
Now batting number 6, the third baseman, Drew Rickert.
So Drew Rickert steps up, facing 2 outs, nobody on base. 11-8-0, the box score for the Eagles, and 1-5-0 for the Tigers. And grounder goes to the second baseman, and nobody on base at all for Dyersburg State. The Tigers heading to the bottom of the 5th. Bottom of the 5th. And Martin still up on the mound. It's been strong to only allow 1 run in 4 innings. The Tigers have Parrott up to bat. 421 slugging and 301 average. Got a piece of it there, 1-2. Piece of it for the foul. So far in the tournament, we've only seen 1 game end in 7 innings, and that was the Chargers and Pioneers game. That was a walk-off, I believe, in the bottom of the 8th for the the bottom of the 7th for it to end 11-1. Aside from that, nobody else so far in the tournament has ended in 7 innings. The rest of them have gone the full 9. And a pop fly left side. Catch made.
Now batting number 1, the center fielder, Sean Keeley.
Sean Cheely up to bat next. 58 hits on the most appearances for the Tigers. Strike 1. The even count. Grounder up the third baseline, toss over, and second out.
Good pick right there from the first baseman, too, to make sure that that wasn't in there.
Now batting number 15, the left fielder, Nick Blueball.
Oh, 1. One. Good news is not just for the players, but for those in the booth, we get to actually sleep in tonight, even though we get a later finish with this game in about probably 12:30 or 1.
Man.
Unless it ends in 7 innings. It's outside for the 3-1. The Eagles have a 10-run lead over the Tigers. Blueball trying to get something going here with 2 outs. Strike 2. Full count now, and Martin, despite his 10.71 ERA, has been fantastic through almost 5 innings.
Yeah, he's doing really good right now, just keeping his pitch count low and
Struck him out there.
making it to where he's striking them out and having them ground out.
Heading to the top of the 6th,
For the Tigers, 0
Eagles back up to bat.
hits and no
Rodriguez is up now, and right now he's 2 for 2 with a grand slam and a double. So we're just going to have to see what he does next. And it's a long fly ball all the way to deep center field and out number 1.
Now batting number 7, the right fielder, Crispin Martin.
And it's ball 1.
And it's
Foul ball.
One and one count here in the top of the 6th. Grounder bounces out for a base hit. Christian Martin with the base hit.
Now batting number 38, the first baseman, Kylan Johnson.
Kylan Johnson back up. Who hasn't had the best performance in the tournament, but got a base hit on his last at-bat. Got several runs in. On a 1-1 count now. Grounder fair on the side. And send another one home for 12-0. Can't get it off.
Can't pick it up.
Does he get a triple here? Yes, safe. 12-1 Eagles. Looked like the ball was stuck between the grass and the fence. Had a little bit of trouble getting it out there, and a triple for Kylan Johnson, who has his second triple of the season.
Now batting number 15, the designated hitter, Tyler Hughes.
Hughes back up with a runner on third, chance to score here. Talk about a tumbleweed there. So 1-0. 1-1. Got a piece of that for a 1-2. And again, the Eagles dugout as chipper as ever. Tigers have been silenced for the most part with being down by 11 runs.
Yeah, they lost all of their motivation as of right now. Doesn't mean that they can't get it back, but it's going to be a lot harder, especially with this 10-rule mercy rule going on, and it's about to come up to the final inning.
Hughes struck out there, so second out of the top of the sixth. And Cameron Berry now with a 310 average. Strike one. Facing the 0-1. Cameron Berry, just one of the many names we've called a bunch of times when we've seen the Eagles up on the field. Just Berry, one of the great highlight players for Dyersburg.
Yeah, he certainly is, and he's super quick on his feet. 14 RBIs, 9 doubles, and a home run already to add to his list. Slugging percentage of a 430 and a 310 batting average. So he's a really good hitter and a really consistent one at that, too.
And got a piece of that there for still the 0-2 count with 2 outs. And Dyersburg has a runner on third, trying to just keep the number of runs going. It's been a long day for us. We're here at about 9:30 in the morning for the first game between the Tigers and the Bucks. Motlow got sent home and went through to the game between the Eagles and the Chargers, where the Eagles sent the Chargers out of the tournament. They were sent out in softball by Cleveland State, and Columbia State being out by the Eagles. And we saw earlier the 7-2 win for the Senators over Jackson State. The Green Jays still in it in the losers final tomorrow against the winner of this game, likely to be Dyersburg State. A rematch of the second round of the winners bracket, which that's going to be an epic matchup to see, and fighting for the right for the championship.
Man, you're telling me I'm actually super excited for it. Just to see the two teams go head to head, and really it's almost like a winner take all for the before the final. The Green Jays plus whoever they play after this game, that's almost going to be a winner takes all right there. And it's going to be even a greater game when the winner of that game faces Walter State. And I'm excited for it because there's going to be a lot of runs, a lot of hits, and a lot of great plays. And really, there's going to be a lot of adrenaline and a lot of emotion out there, too. So I'll just have a feeling that we're just in for a show tomorrow night.
Now a full count for the Eagles. Cameron Berry. It's on a full count. He's been struck out 22 times and walked 11. If you put him on first base here, it's another great opportunity. And there's a grounder that is foul. So barely gets on the foul line there. Full count here as Cameron Berry is trying to get another run for the Eagles, give them more cushion going into the bottom of the sixth. Trying to keep the Tigers scoreless so that they can win and go on to the winner's final to be in the final three. And Berry gets the walk. Now runners on first and third. Now, Fran Torres up, the freshman, who coming into this game with 37 appearances, has gotten 8 hits, 1 double, and a .216 average. So not enough appearances to make a true name for himself, but called his name a decent amount going through this tournament, and he's been up there prepared to do what it takes. Tried to take 2 swings there, and the ump's like, come back, come back. 0-1. 2 outs with runners on first and third. Torres fouls. I wonder how many of the Green Jays are watching this right now.
I don't know. Really, I think that they're just trying to get the sleep that they're wanting because they know of the big day that they got ahead of them. And so they just want to go ahead and get well rested and so that they can get mentally and physically prepared for the game that they have tomorrow. And so it's just going to take so really that's their game plan, I'm more than likely sure. The coaches, on the other hand, they can stay up because they're going to want to know some of this information if they are watching just to see how either of these teams play. But really for the players, all they need right now is just a good night rest and wake up and be prepared to play.
And they'll be prepared as we head to the bottom of the sixth. The third out there, the Eagles get 1 run. 2019 Tennessee Community College Athletic Association Baseball Tournament is sponsored by Hampton by Hilton, Lister Hill Credit Union, Sundrop Bottling, Fairfield by Marriott, and Alpha Graphics of Franklin. Ty Delancey leading off for the bottom of the 6th as the Tigers are down by 11, trying to get some runs to keep the mercy rule from not occurring. As Martin still on the mound. Delancey, 503 slugging. Outside 1-0. And that's a big hit to left field going back towards, and easy catch for the left fielder, first out. And make that 5 outs left on the Tigers season unless they can get 2 runs. Fitzgerald up to bat next with a 465. Swing and a miss. So hit to left field results in the first out, and the 0-1 count here results in a 1-1. Still looking at the forecast. Looking for tomorrow. At least for down here in Columbia, it looks like it's going to pour all day, 1 or 2. Looking at the hourly forecast, the rain is supposed to start at 7 a.m., at least a 40% chance, 80% at 10 a.m., and then around the start time of the game, which is scheduled for 1 o'clock, 60% chance. So rain and thunderstorms possible from 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. tomorrow. So it is going to be probably a last-second decision by the conference if they're going to have the semis on Thursday. Might delay them to Friday, but of course it comes down to this game to determine who's playing tomorrow against the Green Jays. Full count. Here's the 3-2 for Fitzgerald. Foul. Low, and Fitzgerald sent to first. And here comes Jacob Holton with a 403 average and 139. 597 slug. Bottom of the 6th, 1 out for the Tigers. Swing and miss. One. We already went over this earlier in the broadcast, but the journey that both of these teams have taken to get to this point has been incredible. The Eagles 3-2 over the Cougars, and then 11-7 loss against the Green Jays, and then 12-9 earlier today over the Chargers, and right now leading 12-1 over the Tigers, who managed to win 8-5 over the Chargers. Lost 17-9 against the Senators, and then won against the Bucks earlier today, 13-9. And right now down by 11 runs. So both of these teams have taken an incredible journey to get to this point, but only one can move on against the Green Jays.
Yeah, and it's been amazing to see both of these two teams play, and just it hurts worse just to see one of them having to leave. And both of these teams have something special. Dyersburg with their loud bench and just the enthusiasm that they have, and Chattanooga's one of the quickest hands that I've actually seen with their middle infielders. It's actually a cool thing to watch, and I'm a big fan of when it comes to quick when infielders have quick hands, and especially their right fielder who has a cannon of an arm. He's been throwing them all the way to third, almost from the fence in the air. So there's always something with teams that you just gotta love, and those two reasons for both of those teams is something that I love with them. And then one is the sportsmanship, and one is the actual play of the game. So you just you're just gonna miss one of those things once they leave, but. You know, next year they always got a second chance. Next year they'll always have second chances every year when it comes to this point. So I'm happy to see them play this year, and our first time actually broadcasting this too it's actually been a real treat to see all these teams play and see how different they are with the other teams. So it's really been fun watching all these teams play, and I can't wait to see the finals, especially tomorrow's games, even the finals for the losers bracket. And that's something that a lot of people don't say, but the losers bracket has actually been one of the most intense games that there has been. There's been a lot of ups and downs with the scorers. There's been a lot of great plays, a lot of big hits too, as in not only game-winning hits, but home runs too. And it's just kind of one of the things that a lot of people don't mention. A lot of people don't like hearing that baseball is about home runs, and it's not. But it's always cool to see, especially in junior college, from high school to junior college, these people hitting home runs off of a different speed than they're used to. So unless you know that they're transitioning from one speed to another, they're adjusting and they're actually getting the ball off, and it shows the power that these kids have and the potential they have to be when their JUCO days are over and they have a possibility to play for university and hopefully one day for a major league team.
So Holton was struck out for the second out, even count for 2-2 here for Bass Cooper. And make that a full count here with still a runner on first for the Tigers and 4 outs left on their season. And a hit to the outfield and safe on first and second. So a base hit for Bass Cooper. And next up is the fabled number 10, Bowling, with 364 average coming into yesterday. Coming into today's earlier game. Tigers haven't updated their stats for their earlier game against the Bucks. 462 slugging and strike run. The benches have quieted down as we're 5 minutes short of midnight. And into the dirt for 1-1. It's now a 1-1 as the umpire just having a talk with the catcher. 5 minutes short of midnight. Potentially going to get out of here about the same time as last night, and that's strike 2. Runners on first and second, one leading off, and fouls out left. Still several fans enjoying the action here at Columbia State Community College's Dave Hall Field. And several softball players waiting around as well. From the Chattanooga Tigers, who won the championship. And they will head to Utah later, I believe next week or in a few weeks' time for the College World Series. The Women's College World Series that will be heading off to Utah in a few weeks' time. So congratulations to Chattanooga on getting that victory earlier. Here's the 1-2 count. And got just a piece of it to be able to rule that a foul. Tigers got a huge hill to climb if they want to have any chance of getting back in this.
Yeah, and they don't have a lot of time either. They got 4 outs left to do it with, and that's a hard task to even get near 11 runs. So they just got to be patient and wait for their pitch and hopefully drive one into the outfield and get a couple of base hits here and there. Make it to where they can at least come close to say that they battled it out.
Still a 1-2 count. Several fouls by Bowling. Just trying to find the perfect one to send out to the outfield. One, two. Evened up. Still getting some pieces on it, just not able to send it off. Two and two. Low full count now. You've talked about it before with several batters. In Bowling's case, he's trying to find that perfect pitch right now.
Yeah, and it's so hard to do that in tough situations like this just because it's the over-anxiousness that some of these players have. And it's always tough being one of the last outs, even for an inning, much less the game. And even though he's not going to be the last out of the game.
And there's the pitch there, pop up to left center. And the catch made. 3 outs left on the Tigers season, but the Eagles have potentially one more time to rack up the score. Top of the 7th, Blake McCutcheon start over the batting order, probably about 5 or 6 at this point. Spencer Thompson and Austin Ray on the final game of today's coverage. And assuming the chance of the weather holding off, the losers final is tomorrow at 1 o'clock between the Green Jays and the loser of this game. If the score holds, it'll be the Tigers. Both of them trying to fight for a chance. Excuse me. If the score holds, it'll be the Eagles. Eagles rematch potential with the Green Jays will be fighting for a spot in the championship against the Senators, and a huge pop-up is well, that's roof hit number 4 for us here in the press box. As the count is 1-1. And excuse me, 1-2. We just passed midnight about 60 seconds ago, so have about the same amount of energy as the rest of the fans here. Same with the dugout as the noises are chiming down. It's now 1-2. Outside, even count. McCutcheon with 341 average, trying to get his team another run here to potentially seal it. The Eagles, of course, would be way more comfortable with a few more runs to try and seal the deal in 7 innings. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Another foul. Send off. Championship game also scheduled for 4 o'clock tomorrow. Game 2, if necessary, is Friday at 1. Expecting a great day of baseball tomorrow as it pops up in the infield and out number 1. So 2 more outs before for the Eagles to try and get some more scores here. And Gilliam and don't forget, we have the 7th inning shout-outs coming up, so if you haven't already gotten yours in, then make sure to put them in the chat so that we can get to all of you. Grounder to third. Toss over, 2nd out. And what may be the last time that Chris Pfeiffer pitches as a freshman. Drew Record trying to at least get something for his team here. 1-0. Excuse me, 0-1. I want to thank all 72 of you that are viewing us right now. The 0-2 count here as the Eagles are 3 outs away from sending the Tigers home and moving on for a chance to get to the championship. As it's sent foul. Probably over to where the tent booth is for the Maury Regional Health Group. There's a grounder to second. The shortstop couldn't dive for it.
Almost got it, too.
Close there, and now a runner on first. Runs, 11 hits, no errors, and 1 run, 6 hits, and 0 errors. The comparison between the two teams. No errors attributed to any of the players tonight. Here's the 1-0 count for Dyersburg's Luis Rodriguez, who had the grand slam right in the top of the first inning to set the tone and sends it foul, but he's got the power on it. So what's likely looking like a rematch between the Eagles and the Green Jays is set to match up for one amazing losers bracket final. Both teams faced off in the second round of the winners bracket. The Green Jays sent the Eagles to this point, 7-5. The Eagles managed to overcome the Chargers, 12-9. And grounder gets to right field, a base hit, runners on first and second.
Now batting number 7, the right fielder, Kristen Martin.
Kristen Martin with 560 slugging and 63 hits, well, 16 doubles. Even though you have a 2-out situation, Christian Martin can do some damage here to increase the lead for the Eagles.
Yeah, and he's very powerful when it comes to hitting, too, with the 560 slugger percentage. He's had 4 home runs and 16 doubles. So you better watch out for this kid because he can really put some power on the ball. Plus, with his 5 stolen bases, it's not a lot, but it still shows that he has some speed to get to where he needs to where he wants to go. And if he could dig out a triple, he'll definitely do so, especially already after he's had 1 triple within the season.
And the Eagles from earlier today against the Chargers with Rodriguez up here. His at-bat is 5. At-bat was 5 against the Chargers. He had 2 runs, 2 hits. And swing and miss there for 1 and 2. He had 2 hits, 2 RBIs, a walk, strikeout, and left on base. So managed to get a whole bunch of stats in there against the Chargers. And Martin. Excuse me, I was looking at these stats there for Rodriguez against the Chargers. Martin had almost the same stat lines, just 1 less at-bat and 1 more walk and 1 more time left on base. The rest, 2 runs, 2 hits, 2 RBIs, and struck out once. And he had that home run yesterday. Rodriguez getting it up to 5, and with that grand slam today, he ties his teammate Drew Record with 6 home runs for the season. So now a even count at 2 each. Record trying to do some more damage. And grounder goes to the outfield, and they're going to send the Eagle home. A deep toss from left field, run number 13.
It was just a great base hit. Sorry, I didn't know what you mean.
Yeah, you were looking at me as if there was somebody out there. Nobody out, and 13-1.
But it was just really a great base hit up the left side between third and short, and enough power just to get it by both of them. And easy score ran from the runner to make the from 2 runners, excuse me, to make it a 14-1 lead.
A pitching change for the here for the Tigers. Kylan Johnson up to bat, and the relief pitcher Malachi Griggs with a 2.05 ERA, 13 strikeouts, 6 walks, 13.2 innings he's pitched in 6 appearances as a freshman. And his record was 4-0 for win-loss.
Yeah, he's really an outstanding pitcher. The 2.05 ERA really shows, especially with the movement on any of his pitches. That curveball that we just saw had a lot of movement on there. The rotation stayed tight, and he could be really consistent with the pitch. He's given up no home runs and had 13 strikeouts, and those from 13.2 innings. So he's had at least one strikeout per inning, so that's always a good thing to have on your record. And only giving up 8 hits and 3 earned runs. So what he's doing is actually a really good job and a really good consistent way of pitching.
Here's the 0-2. Griggs has, as I said, walked 6 batters and struck out 13. Here's the 1-2. Kylan Johnson with a 388 slugging percentage. He's managed to get 12 doubles, 1 triple, and has 38 hits on. This will be coming up his appearance 138, but stat line's for 134 at bats. He's been struck out 39 times, on base 377. He's got teammates on first and second, trying to do some more damage here to increase the lead and try not to get this forced inning 9. High up for even count. Got a piece of it for a foul. And 2 outs with the count 2-2. Wonder what the count is on the 2 outs, 2 balls, and 2 strikes.
And they quit
I
that
was-
last game.
Quit last game because of the amount of time it's taken today for all the games. 4-hour game to start off the day at 10 o'clock, and then a 4-hour game didn't start until 3. Fortunately, the Green Jays and the Senators, I guess they got it from us because they did a 2.5 hour game, the average for baseball.
Yeah.
They must have talked. I'm pretty sure the coaches, with the umpire, they probably talked before the game to get it.
They had to. That game went quicker than any other game that we really had this whole week.
We've had maybe 2 games go 2.5 hours, and the rest of them have been 3 hours or more. So, with the high stakes of the tournament and everybody knowing that anyone can win the championship, the stakes continue to be high. We are right now at 2.5 hours for this final game. Full count with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. And here's the full count. Low and a walk for full bases. So with 2 outs, the Eagles can easily get another few runs here, but Tyner Hughes steps up, the freshman who's coming into this game with 15 appearances. This will be about appearance 20 at a .533 slugging. As we get deeper into the night and probably about 10-15 minutes short of when the night game concluded last night between the Green Jays and the Eagles. So the Eagles having to play 2 night games in a row, but they had another game earlier today at 1. So with Dyersburg advancing, fatigue seems to have not affected them as much as you think it would. It's a 1-1 count. And Malachi Griggs still on the mound for the Tigers. Strike there. It's a 1-2 count with bases loaded for the Eagles. Hughes. And swing and a miss. We're headed to the bottom of the 7th. The Tigers down 12 runs. One of the largest uphill battles to climb in recent baseball history. Let's head to our 7th inning stretch.
Yeah, and we got a few shout-outs here today. Our first one is from Keely Frey. She wants to give a shout-out to Kyle Johnston saying, "Let's go Eagles." Hannah Box gives a shout-out to Louis Rodriguez, the person that hit the grand slam, saying, "Your Dyersburg family is so proud of our favorite Venezuelan." Shout-out from Jane Raymond saying, "Shout-out to Alex Raymond's Go Eagles." And John Delancey, and we got to give it up for John Delancey, too, because he's been keeping it with us ever since we started. So shout out to you, John Delancey, and also he wants to say shout out to all these athletes who took the JUCO route. I wish them all the luck at their next stop. Love to Ty Delancey, incredible season, young man.
The 2019 Tennessee Community College Athletic Association Baseball Tournament is sponsored by Fairfield by Marriott, Sundrop Bottling, Hampton by Hilton, Alpha Graphics of Franklin, and Lister Hill Credit Union. And here we are, the bottom of the 7th, a 12-run lead. And the leadoff is Fitzgerald. Excuse me, not Fitzgerald, Bailey Russell, the leadoff. The 270 average is trying to help the Tigers get back some life. Faces the 1-0. If you're a baseball coach and you're down by 12 runs in the essential final half inning, what in the world are you telling your guys right now?
No, really, I'm telling them to stay focused, keep their head in it, and to make sure that they're seeing the ball well, because when it comes next year, that's what they're going to have to be focused on during the practice, just because they've had many of opportunities where they could have driven the ball real well, scored a few more runs, but at this point they haven't. So they really need to start focusing on the ball. So as a coach, I would just tell them, stay focused on the ball, just relax, and it's just picture it as another game at this point, and just drive your hands through the ball, get something in the outfield, and run around the bases like they used to play with.
12 sophomores graduating from the Chattanooga State Tigers. And their season on the line here. And the Eagles getting closer and closer to a rematch with the Green Jays tomorrow, and a deep hit into center field. And they don't get the catch. Base hit. Base hit for Russell on first.
Now batting number 19, the first baseman, Brandon Parrott.
Parrott steps up to the plate. The runner on first. Swing and a miss for the 0-1. Strike two. And it's about official. The end of last night's night game is where we are now. And strikeout, so 2 more outs left on the Tigers season. Of course, a very special thank you to not only the people watching in person here, but the 47 who have been sticking with us for however long. As this game got out of hand in the top of the 4th with 7 runs. Strike one. Runner on first, and just 1 strikeout that occurred. And Chile grounds it there for the 0-2. And you can see it over in the dugout for the Tigers. You can see the looks of knowing what's about to happen.
Yeah, especially 1 out, down by 12. They've almost given up at this point, so and it's not a good thing to say and to hear, but really at this point with 2 outs left, 12 runs to go until you could tie them, there's almost no hope for it. It's not saying that it's impossible, but it's very hard to do.
That one fouls out to the left, and Chile faces a 0-2. Martin has stood completely strong here for 6 1/3 innings. Part of the reason that a huge reason for the Tigers not getting anything, except for 1 run in the first. And how much you want to bet pretty sure how much you want to bet that the Eagles are going to be celebrating Rodriguez with that grand slam in the beginning. And
that's been the main highlight of this game. Very first inning, the 4th batter up. There's been no outs and bases loaded, and start off the inning in the full game with the grand slam. So it's actually really amazing to see. So I wouldn't be surprised if they go out and went out and gave them a little celebration of their own after the game. And really, he deserves it. He was one of their main hitters tonight. Went 2 for 3. 3 for 4, 3 for 4, and 2 of those being extra base hits. So he did a really great job tonight, and he was one of their star players when it came to hitting.
Chile struck out, blue ball at the plate, and 1 more out until the Tigers are sent back home to Chattanooga. Luba trying to get something here as the Eagles are setting their eyes against the Green Jays for tomorrow afternoon. One and one. Swing and a miss. One runner on base. And Austin just showed me something incredibly funny that is too funny at this point at 12:30 at night. 1-2. And the Eagles are headed to the final of the losers bracket. They've got a rematch with the Green Jays for a slot in the championship against the Senators. And Martin standing strong. It's back up on the mound, and Martin standing strong for the majority of the game. I'm not sure if he played the full game, but the Tigers of Chattanooga are headed home as Martin standing strong, only allowing 1 run the complete game, his first complete game. And we've got a matchup set up ahead for us tomorrow if the weather permits, Austin. The Jackson State Green Jays facing off against the Dyersburg State Eagles in a rematch, and this time the stakes even higher for the championship. 1 will be sent home. And 13-1 final score. And the Green Jays and the Eagles face off tomorrow. Updating the bracket here. So that's the schedule as we know it. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock is when Jackson State and Dyersburg are supposed to face off. And following that at 4 o'clock, it is the Senators playing whoever wins that game in the championship, and if necessary, Friday at 1 o'clock for the full championship. That is going to do it for our coverage here. It's been a long day, longest day of the week for us. No more 4-game days for us, and we're going to sign off. You've been watching the 2019 Tennessee Community College Athletic Association Baseball Tournament. We'll see you tomorrow for the losers final and the championship.
Bye, guys.